So welcome to week 5 of Accelerator, how to accelerate your business, income, and profit, even in uncertain economic times. In this week, what we are going to do is we are going to talk about the drives that decide business or life, success or failure, or how fulfilled you're going to be is based on the drives that we are talking about today. So did you have a situation where a client or someone acted in a certain way and you had no clue why they acted that way? Did you ever have a situation? If so, put that in the chat. A person, I never thought that person will do that. I have no idea still now why she did that, why he did that in relationship or in anything. It is just me or anybody else had that feeling? Put that in the chat. You will find the answer for that today. You will know exactly what that person did, why that person did whatever they did. And this is going to let you know how to inspire businesses or your clients as well. So if you're not taking action in your business, you will find out why today. Okay, so that's pretty exciting stuff. Right. So if you're not taking action in your business, you'll find out why today. If you have a hard time motivating your clients to take action, you learn the inner secrets to inspire them to take action from a different angle. We talked about it from a different angle last week, but this is from a completely different way of looking at it as entire human species. So what we are going to talk about is human drive framework for business and life. So I'm going to give you a preview of what it is. It covers a lot of aspect of human and how human experience is shaped, and I'm going to get into it. There is comfortable life. Just scan through this for a second. There's certainty, significance, variety, love, creativity, structure, growth, contribution, and enlightenment. And you see emotional brain on the top left and social brain on the bottom. It took me a lot of like 10 years or more to come up with this, and I'm still figuring this out. So bear with me on this one. Okay, but if you know this, then you have control on your business. You have control on the experience that you give to your clients, right? And the experience that you create for your family, your friends, your husband, your wife, right? So but if you don't know this, then you are like trying to draw a tail of a monkey with blind eyes. You don't know what other person's world order is. You don't understand like what is going on in other person's head. So if you don't understand that, then you might not be able to calibrate into their conversation, get into their conversation, and then inspire them to take action, whether it is team members, whether it is partners, loved ones, children, parents, whatever. So from now on, I'm giving you permission to learn in 3 dimensions because you guys are, I mean, you already came this far, and this is not a really, really average level training. This is a very advanced training. So which means that since you are here, I'm confident that you have the capacity to learn in 3 dimensions. So whatever I'm teaching you, you can learn in at least 3 dimensions. Let me explain what I mean by that. Learn how to understand and implement. So that's the first thing that you're going to do. Learn how to understand and implement. This goes along with the level 5 learning too. Learn to accelerate your business. So at the same time, you could think about 2 things, right? Understand and implement. How to accelerate my business. So you might be asking questions like, how can I understand and implement this? Another question would be like, how could I accelerate my business? Learn to make sense of the world. Like, the more sense that we have about the world, the more understanding that you have about business too, right? So that's the third thing. Fourth thing is learn for self-awareness. Like you are in a human experience, you're traveling in this human experience in terms of time for probably 80, 90, 100 years. And then the faster you get to self-awareness, the better clarity that you have in whatever you want to do in your purpose of your life. And then you learn how to learn. There are like so many subtle things that we are doing in this training that is probably triggering you to, if it triggers you to learn faster in the things. Because some of the things that we are covering here, although it might sound simple, there's a lot of thoughts have gone into this, integrating like ideas from like 7 different dimensions to make it simple. So you can learn how to learn, because if you know how to learn, if you learn how to learn, then you're a super adapter. Think about it. Coronavirus shows up or economic crisis shows up. If you know how to learn in an economic crisis, then you know how to adapt in the economic crisis. Make sense? Yeah. So for that, what I have designed is I have designed 3 questions for today. So from now on, there is another purpose for the questions that we are asking, because the questions that we ask, decides the context of what we are understanding. So imagine we lived a life for like 80, 90 years, and the only question that we asked is, why does life suck? Why does life suck? Our entire frame of life is framed by that question. Oh, life sucked because of this. Why is world so unfair? Why is world so unfair? If that's the case, your entire frame of experience is shaped by that question. Does that make sense? Do you see how powerful it is? So if you end up living a life where you are asking, why am I failing all the time? Then your entire experience is shaped based on that question, because all you could see is failure. So that's why we will unpack questions in a much deeper level in a different session, and how to use that in business in a different session, because the difference between like big CEOs of multi-billion-dollar companies and regular person, an average person who makes $7 or $8 an hour, the difference is the ability to ask different questions. But we will unpack that in a later time. But this question, how can I understand and implement human drive in my business and life? What actions can I take from today's training to accelerate my business? Third question, how can I understand my customers and my team behavior with a human drive framework? Let's get into the soul model number 20. Human mind works in paradoxical drives. And the entire session for today is on that topic. It's about the paradox of the mind and how it works in contrast in drives. And I'm going to unpack that, but just feel that for a second. Soul model number 21. Giving selflessly is the most selfish thing to do. The best way to get anything is to give. Process that for a second. You know, a wise man said, treat other people the way you want to be treated, right? So the best way to get anything is to give. Process that for a second. And we will unpack that in detail too. So another soul model for today is, which is soul model 22, is when you live a purposeful life, everything automatically falls into place. When you live a purposeful life, everything automatically falls into place. You don't need me. You don't need a teacher. You don't need to understand anything. You don't need to study anything. I'm not saying that you shouldn't study. Studying will get you to that purpose. But once you reach that purpose, it's good to understand like what is happening, but at the same time, everything will automatically fall into place. So the human experience is based on what you want to feel at a certain time. So let's start looking at certainty here. I'm not going to cover the entire thing here. I'm going to cover what is relevant for business in this context. So look at it. Like when we want, what if you feel like the room that you are in right now, you feel like the air in the room is going to go away in like 5 minutes. Will you be interested in my training at that point? The point is certainty. Without feeling secure and certain in your mind, then without feeling certain and secure, you wouldn't be interested in anything. So people, as a human mind, it's a need for the mind in order for us to feel certain. Right? So we want to feel certain that the husband loves us, the wife loves us, the children will be okay, the world is going to be okay, the virus is going to be going, or the economy is going to be fine, I'm going to have business. We want to feel certain, right? This is a need that is deeply embedded in our mind. I put that in red because it's a need for the mind. This is not a need for a soul. Soul doesn't need to feel certainty. Soul needs to feel other things, but one of them is not certainty. But since you have a mind, since you are a human, since you have a mind and since you are a human, you need to feel certain about things. So tell me 1 to 10, what is your need for certainty in your life? If you have a high need for certainty, what happens is, there's nothing wrong or right or wrong answer here. You could have 10 certainty, you could have 1 certainty, but if you have 10 certainty, then what happens is you need to feel a lot of assurance. You need a lot of validation. You need people to feel that you need external validation a lot. There are, in the case of these drives, there are 3 types of recipes. There are positive recipes or soul recipes. There are shadow recipes, and there are neutral recipes. So the point is the certainty and variety are an opposite. You feel total certain. What happens is you feel total certain. What happens is you feel like bored. There's no variety in it. And if you like total variety, you freak out. There is a beautiful thing from Tony Robbins. He said something like, problems are the words that we use for the variety that we don't want in our lives. Listen to that. Problems are the words that we use for the variety that we don't want in our life. There are two types of varieties. The type that we want and the type that we do not want. The one that we don't want, we call them variety. Okay, now let's go to the next one, which is significance. So if you look at significance and love, like when am I like really significant as an individual experience? I feel significant when I'm free, or when I accomplish something. Different people have different rules for this, but if you are like totally significant, you feel like, what, I am needed, I am important. Generally speaking, for women, it might be I am needed. This is generally speaking. For men, it could be I'm important, right? So if you feel like totally significant, could you be in love with people? You want to be like totally significant all the time. Give me significance, give me significance, give me significance. Then you cannot be in love, right? Because the more significance that you need, then what happens is, and there are like some exceptions and all this, but generally speaking, the more significance that you need, the less love you would be able to feel. The more love you feel, the less significance you would need, actually. So that's why the certainty, the significance, and the structure, they are marked in red because they are from the mind. So now look at creativity. Like the more creative you are, the less structure you want, right? The more structure oriented you are, then the less creative you are. So they are in conflict too, right? So what happens? The certainty is pulling us one way, the variety is pulling us another way. Significance is pulling us one way, the love is pulling us another way. Until we reach a point where you start focusing on growth and contribution. Because when you are growing, what happens? You have variety, you have creativity, you have certainty. Because you have certainty that you are doing better. You have variety that you have a different level. Your creativity, you're using some sort of creativity to grow. When you're contributing, you feel loved because you are contributing to the world. You're giving to the world. You feel you're giving. You feel significant because you're contributing, right? So structure is one thing that it might not play into that contribution. But when you're growing and contributing, what happens is you're aligned to your soul, which the next step would be transcendence, where you're enlightened. You don't flipping care about any of these things. But how does that work in business? So let's go through this on the business side, and then that will make sense to you. Okay, so if an activity has a high number or 7 to 10 for more than two drives, then it's an addictive thing. So I'm going to demonstrate that for you in a second. In other words, if you want to be addicted to something, you just need 7 plus emotional intensity for 3 drives. And again, I'm going to unpack this for you in a second. So let's go through this: certainty, variety, significance, connection, creativity, freedom, structure, growth, and contribution. Find something that you love to do. Okay, find something that you love to do. What's your drive for each of them? Each of you, go ahead and find something that you love. Find something that you love, and then see you have at least 7 plus on at least 3 of these drives. If that is not true, let me know. I wanted to hear that. So spend like 3 minutes now to unpack this idea. Like if something that you love, because that is not the homework right now. I'm going to show you something interesting on the opposite side. So spend that 3 minutes, find something that you love, and I can almost guarantee you that you would have 7 plus on at least 3 of them. Do it now. Find something that you hate to do. Okay, so I'm going to unmute you, James. What's your drive for each of them? So find something that you hate to do. What's the drive for each of them? So, and the question is, how could I change the drive to a 10, which we could discuss in a second. Go ahead and write something that you hate to do, and then think about how you could restructure in such a way that you could fall in love with this thing. So just think about that, okay? Don't take any action yet. I don't want you to be a super achiever yet. So let's get into this. Let's get into the business side of it, okay? What is your emotional intensity of drive for business as a whole? So who want to play with me on this one? James, you can continue with this one. Business as a whole. What is your, as a whole, what's your drive? So that's what we're going to unpack here. And we're going to go through this. And tell me, business as a whole, what is your number? So let me take this picture for you so I could show it to you. Level of certainty. Be absolutely honest here, okay? This is the moment, okay? 1 to 10, what's your level of certainty about business?
6 is what came up.
Okay. What's the level of significance you are feeling internally in your heart as a business person?
4. I'm not making as much of the difference I want.
Got
Yeah, 4.
Got it. What is the level of variety that you're feeling as a business person right now?
8. Lots of variety, that's for sure.
Is that the variety type, the type of variety that you want, or the variety that you don't want?
A mix. It's a mix.
Okay, got it. What's the level of love that you're feeling? Love or connection that you're feeling as a business person?
8 is what came up, but I make sure that's a feeling because I love what I do. I love being in business. It's just, again, the leads, the money flow, especially now, is frustrating. Love for my business.
It's a conflicting emotion, though, right? That's what you're saying. Okay, what's the level of growth you're feeling in this?
13. I've learned a lot.
Okay, got it. That's good. So that's beautiful. What's the level of contribution you're feeling?
7 is what came up. Let me make
Got
sure.
it. Could you possibly, so you have a 7 on contribution and growth. If you could pick one from the left side, you have growth, you're feeling 15 growth. What if you could do 10 contribution and 15 growth and 10 contribution and pick one from the left? Then immediately your business is going to shift. Why? Because you are in love with this business. You have at least 3. What if you are totally outrageous and you want to have 10 variety? You structure your business in such a way that you have 10 variety, 10 certainty, 10 significance, 10 love, 10 creativity, 10 growth, and 10 structure and 10 contribution. You're going to grow phenomenally fast. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
You could just design that. So let's ask this question, each of us. So you said certainty, significance was 3, 4?
4.
Okay. So what should happen in order for you to feel 10 out of 10 significance about your business? How can you design your business in such a way that you could feel 10 out of 10 significance every day for the rest of your life?
Well, it would be reaching more people, being in front of more people, and teaching and training more, and coaching, mentoring more people. It would be in front of more people, giving more value, helping more people. How would I structure the business to do that? I guess it's all about more leads coming in, more marketing, better leads, better marketing, better closing ratios.
Got it. So these are all about more things, right? Let's switch for a second and go back to contribution. What if you are getting 15 out of 10 growth from your business? Okay, which you are getting already. And what if you are contributing 15 out of 10 for each and every client that you are working on right now? So you're going to give 15 out of 10 for each and every client, and you're getting 15 out of 10 growth from that as well. Yes. Mm-hmm. And instead of focusing on the more side and trying to be focusing on that, what if you could feel significant giving 15 out of 10, and when you do, they would start talking about you because you are giving 15 out of 10 contribution, and all of a sudden they'll be like the person who discovered iPhone 1, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is iPhone 1, I have this thing, this is the best thing that ever happened in my life, and all of a sudden you could feel significant. Yes?
Yeah, so how does one do that is, I guess, the magic question. And yeah, if you're feeling that way, absolutely, it's going to reflect and it's going to come back. Absolutely. How does one do that?
Okay, so let's talk about it. So how could you contribute? You said you are feeling 6 out of 10 contribution in your business, around 5 to 6. That's the number.
I said maybe 4 even when I really looked at it.
4. Okay, got it. So how could you make it a 10 out of 10 contribution for your customers right away? Like how could I give them the best experience, like, you know, the ecstatic experience that they ever had working with anybody in your space? Because our normal tendency is like, I want more people, more leads, more this thing, more that thing. Then all of a sudden we'll be like, oh, I know. Versus now you focus only on, again, 80% of the result is from 20% of actions. You just focus on growth and contribution, and then focus on growth. You are already feeling growth. Now you contribute, and then I want people to start talking about this thing, this person who talks about ADHD, this woman who's empowering other women, this power tech enterprise that is transforming business, this Rani Rice who is doing business in a dramatically different way with care and compassion and being truthful, this person who is transforming people's life, this person who is building this large manufacturing division, which is with amazing quality and being an amazing human being. So what can you do, James, to bring 10 out of 10 contribution in your experience?
I guess serve people more, serve better, deeper, with more love. And this is in terms of sales calls, correct?
It's sales call or anything, your sales calls, or it doesn't have to be sales call, the entire business. Right now we are talking about the entire business. So let me ask a blanket question to everyone here, each of you here. What if you become the source of certainty for your clients? Remember the soul model we talked about? Give what you want to receive. What if you become the source of significance for your clients? Harish, in your case, what if you become the source of certainty for your clients? In a sense, they want to make a lot of money, right? They want to make a lot of money, and you build a business for them, right? You want to help them structure everything so they could start a business. What if you are the source of significance for them? You give them significance, enormous amount of significance. They feel totally significant around you. Imagine they feel totally loved around you. Imagine your clients are feeling total variety around you, totally creative, total growth, and total contribution. The moment you start giving that, they're going to give it back to you. Is that true or no? True or true, James?
Yeah, I actually listened to a meditation on this last night from Deepak Chopra, so that's interesting you're mentioning it today.
Yeah.
So, say that again, the more...
So if you feel like you're missing... So Chris, since you are asking for 10 out of 10 for certainty, start giving certainty to people around you. The fastest way to feel certain is like you become the salesperson of certainty. The fastest way to feel significant, you become the person who gives significance to everyone. 20% of the people might not respond to you, but the 80% will. And then you will feel certain. If you want to feel more love in your life, become the person who gives maximum love around you. If you want to feel more structure, you be the person who creates structure in other people's life. If you want more creativity, appreciate creativity, like appreciate creativity in other people. If you want to grow, see the growth in other people and appreciate the growth and celebrate their growth. Make sense? I mean, I could tell you like 70 different ways to do this, but the simple way is to start giving. This is why I said giving selflessly is the most selfish thing to do. Make sense? Are you willing to give significance in your business to people? Like you become a significant salesman, right? And are you willing to contribute like enormously and start contribute big time, right? And another one that was missing, you said, was certainty, right? You become a force of certainty in your business, so that every person who talks to you, they feel certain. They feel like, oh my gosh, this is the thing, right? So it's not a technique anymore. I want you to step out of the thinking of technique. That's the old American insurance salesman way. This technique, let's use this technique to manipulate people, that technique to manipulate people, right? Like I told you, like in enormous number of times, Gandhi did not have a technique. He didn't go to people, each person's home and said, you know what, I have a magnificent product. It's a freedom thing, we could be free if you work hard for 145 years. I don't know, probably 30 years or something in Gandhi's life, but it took India a lot more time. We were very slow to work. We were not very efficient back then, but now we are getting much better. So that's not what happened. He was aligned. He started giving significance, started giving certainty, variety, love, creativity, structure, growth, and contribution. All of a sudden, people resonated with him. Yeah, that's what happened. Let's get into one final thing, which is this one. So in market, so think about this in each of these areas. In innovation, what is your level of drive in innovation? You can, there is a clue in the beginning. I asked you, what is your area that you have the biggest challenge? And multiple people said marketing. Some people said something else, optimization probably. So in marketing, what's your drive in marketing, right? So let's spend like 3 minutes finding out the drive for each of them. Like, like which one do I have least drive? Like just scan through this. Is it innovation? Most of the time, entrepreneurs, they're really excited about their product. So innovation might not be it. Sometimes it could be different. Like you are really excited about your product. So oftentimes it's marketing. So change your association with marketing, right? So in that, like, so the question is, in marketing, sales, and innovation, what do you dislike the most? What do you dislike the most? Put that in the chat. What do you dislike the most in marketing, innovation, and sales? What's your drive? 1 to 10. And how could I change that? At least 3 drives to 10. And if you are able to, I would demonstrate this for you on a Friday call, how to change it to 10. But at least for theoretically, how could you change at least 3 of these drives to 10 so that, drives to 10, so that you become a master in marketing. You're addicted to marketing. So think about it. Like, which one is that? So could you put that in the chat and let me know which one is it? Marketing, innovation, or optimization? Which one do you need more drive? And this is your platform. This is your blueprint that you could look at and say, you know what? Oh, I'm not feeling certain. I'm not feeling certainty about marketing. Optimization is how to use humans and money to get the best outcome from money and people. So that's what optimization is. Typically, businesses who are above $10 million or above 7 figures, they need to start thinking about it. And then if you're at like above 8 figures, optimization is really important, right? And if you're doing like multiple 8 figures, then reach out to me. I would have like a one-on-one session where I could help you figure out the same play with optimization as well. But in this particular context, if it's marketing, start thinking about how to build certainty in marketing. Human mind works in paradoxical drives, and you have control on this whole thing, right? So giving selflessly is the most selfish thing you could do. The best way to get anything is to give. Finally, Soul Model 22, when you live purposeful life, everything automatically falls into place. Remember, you just focus on growth and contribution. So 80% of your result will come from 20% actions. Just focus on results and growth and contribution, just like James is doing. And when you do, everything else is going to fall into place. That was a purposeful life. I don't know whether you saw this. You see the purposeful life line there? When you are in your purpose, when you are on growth and contribution, just ignore everything related to mind. And then when you're on those two, then everything else will automatically fall into place. So if you feel like if you master this, then you basically have control on this whole experience. Guess how people are going to operate in their company? This is what they are looking for. Each individual is looking for that. The vendor, the person that you're selling, the person that you're buying from, your husband, your wife, your children, all the stakeholders in your life, they're looking for this. And if you're able to unpack this, then you have everything that you need to take your business to the next level.